There's a fruit sitting in American grocery stores right now that's 3 times healthier than the apples you've been eating your whole life. It's loaded with more vitamin C, more potassium, more antioxidants, and more powerful medicine than anything in the produce section. Yet almost nobody buys it. Almost nobody even knows it exists. This is Wyatt, and you're watching Nature's Forgotten World. We dig into the plants and foods that shaped civilizations, the crops our ancestors relied on before we traded nutritious eating for convenience. If you want to discover the forgotten treasures that are still growing today, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll want to find one of these fruits yourself. Thousands of years ago, this wasn't just food, it was power. In ancient mythology, when Paris had to choose the most beautiful goddess, he wasn't handing over a common grocery store apple. The prize he held was something far more significant, a fruit wrapped in meaning and magic. This fruit symbolized love, fertility, and power. For 4 millennia, it dominated Mediterranean orchards across the Roman Empire. Nobility understood its value. Brides would consume this fruit before their wedding nights, believing it would perfume their breath and guarantee marital happiness. At royal banquets, it wasn't merely a food, it was a status symbol. The preservation methods built around this fruit became legendary. Ancient records show how civilizations protected their winter supplies using this single crop. This is the quince, and what happened to it is one of history's greatest losses. Walk into any supermarket during the winter season, and if you find one tucked away in some forgotten corner, your first reaction will be disappointment. It looks like a pear that's been through a fight. The skin is fuzzy, the shape is lumpy and irregular. It feels like a rock in your hand. Bite into it raw, and your teeth might actually hurt. The flesh is woody and dense. Your mouth puckers immediately. That astringent sensation hits like biting into lemon peel. Every instinct tells you this fruit is broken, ruined, or simply not meant to eat. This perception killed the quince. People stopped buying it. Farmers stopped growing it. The fruit that once filled royal warehouses became invisible to modern eaters. But here's what most people don't understand. The quince isn't broken, it's just different. It's demanding. It wants something from you before it reveals its secrets. Technically, the quince goes by the name Sidonia oblonga. It's a distinct botanical genus that evolved completely differently from its cousin, the apple. While humans spent thousands of years breeding apples to be sweeter, crunchier, and immediately edible, the quince refused to change. It stayed wild. It stayed protective. It stayed defensive. Those grainy bits you feel when you bite into raw quince? Scientists call them stone cells or sclerids. They're nature's security system. They protect seeds from insects and pests. The quince simply refuses to be consumed until it decides you're ready. And for this fruit, ready means one thing: cooking. This is where the magic happens. Raw quince flesh is pale, unappealing, and uninviting, but apply heat, slow, gentle heat, and something extraordinary occurs. The tough cellular walls break down. Locked inside the fruit are special pigments called anthocyanins. These compounds are heat-stable, meaning they survive cooking. They react with the natural tannins already present in the fruit, and the transformation begins. The flesh shifts from cream-colored to something that looks like stained glass, deep ruby red, translucent, glowing. No artificial dyes, no food coloring, just chemistry and heat, creating a color so beautiful it belongs in an art museum, not a saucepan. This is the quince's secret weapon, and it's been waiting for thousands of years for someone to remember how to use it. When nutritionists compare modern apples to quinces in laboratory testing, the differences are shocking. The quince retains something selective breeding removed from nearly every other fruit: nutritional density. Think about vitamin C. A standard supermarket apple contains 4.6 milligrams per serving. A quince delivers approximately 15 milligrams. You're getting more than 3 times the antioxidant protection. Before vitamin pills existed, before supplement bottles lined pharmacy shelves, our ancestors used quince as their immune system booster. The mineral content tells a similar story. Potassium, essential for heart health and muscle function, shows up at 197 milligrams in quince compared to just 107 milligrams in apples, nearly double. The iron and copper content surpasses common fruits, minerals your body desperately needs for blood health and energy creation. But the real power source is the fiber, specifically a type called pectin. The quince contains some of the highest natural pectin levels on the entire planet. This wasn't accidental. Roman physicians understood this completely. They prescribed stewed quince to patients suffering from dysentery and digestive inflammation. It worked because the fiber acts like a soothing treatment for the gut lining, vastly outperforming whatever you'd get from modern dessert apples. And don't ignore the skin. The peel contains phenolic compounds, powerful antioxidants that fight the damage caused by free radicals and oxidative stress. Testing shows the antioxidant capacity of quince peel significantly exceeds that of apples and pears. These are properties modern sugar-heavy fruits simply cannot match, no matter how shiny they look in the store. Every time someone spreads marmalade on toast at breakfast, they're participating in quince history without realizing it. The very word marmalade comes directly from Portuguese, where it originally meant quince. This wasn't a secondary meaning or a poetic reference, it was the primary definition. For hundreds of years, before citrus fruits traveled north to England and North America, marmalade contained 0 oranges. It was pure quince. The texture was firm enough to slice with a knife. Cooks would create solid blocks of quince preserves and serve them alongside sharp cheeses or roasted meats. This tradition survives today in Spain under the name dulce de membrillo. These preserves weren't frivolous, they were survival strategy. Before refrigeration existed, the quince was the most important fruit for winter planning. Its high tannin content and tremendous pectin volume made it the ultimate preservation crop. A raw quince kept in a cool cellar resists rotting for months while filling the entire home with its remarkable fragrance. Once cooked with honey or sugar, it could last for years. This longevity made the quince essential for enduring winters. Throughout human history, civilizations recognized this value. The highest courts prioritized quince cultivation. Charlemagne understood the quince's value so thoroughly that he ordered quince trees planted throughout the royal gardens of his entire empire. He understood that controlling this resource meant controlling sustenance and prestige. In Tudor England, a refined version of quince jelly called Cotonac represented luxury at the highest levels. It wasn't just a dessert, it was a gift worthy of royalty. People valued it for the complex, floral, honeyed flavor, certainly, but equally for the medicinal properties everyone recognized. Diners believed that consuming this preparation after elaborate feasts would seal the stomach, support digestion, and prevent the unpleasant consequences of overeating. This belief wasn't superstition. The high fiber content and specific compounds actually supported digestive function. The quince wasn't confined to sweet applications. In Persian and Moroccan culinary traditions, the quince remains a savory staple in modern kitchens. It gets stewed slowly in tagines alongside lamb or duck. The fruit's tartness and tannins cut through rich animal fat, balancing the entire dish in ways that sweet apples never could achieve. This level of culinary complexity has largely disappeared from standard American eating patterns, where sugar has been segregated to the end of meals. The quince's disappearance wasn't orchestrated by some intentional conspiracy. It was collateral damage from industrialization and the acceleration of American life. As the United States urbanized during the late 1800s and early 1900s, people abandoned farm kitchens in favor of factory work and office jobs. The measurement of food success changed. Nutritional density stopped mattering. Convenience became everything. Apples won the competition because they fit into lunchboxes. They could be eaten raw on trains during commutes. Office workers could bite into them at their desks. A fruit that required peeling, coring, and 2 hours of slow cooking couldn't survive in a society that was beginning to worship speed above all other values. Then came the 1890s and a man named Charles Knox. He popularized granulated gelatin. This single invention destroyed the quince's primary usefulness. Before Knox's creation, if a homemaker wanted jam or jelly to set properly, she needed high pectin fruits. The quince was irreplaceable. It was the essential player that made other preserves possible. But once packaged gelatin and powdered pectin became available at general stores, everything changed. The quince lost its job. It stopped being necessary. By the 1920s, commercial orchards began removing quince trees. They planted Macintosh apples and Red Delicious varieties instead, varieties bred for raw consumption and quick profit. The quince transformed from pantry essential to ornamental plant, lingering only in forgotten farmyards and in the fading memories of older generations. Something is shifting. The slow food movement and a new generation of homesteaders and gardeners are recognizing what we discarded. There's growing understanding that meaningful things require time and patience. People are remembering that certain flavors and nutritional benefits can't be rushed or replicated. This revival is spreading. More gardeners are seeking out heritage varieties. More cooks are learning forgotten recipes. More families are discovering what their great-grandparents knew about eating seasonally and growing their own food. The quince is returning because people finally understand we threw away treasure when we threw away this fruit. The quince isn't some exotic plant requiring specialized knowledge. It's incredibly manageable across most of the United States. It thrives in USDA growing zones 5 through 9, which covers a massive portion of the country. Here's what makes it exceptional. It's self-fertile. You only need one tree. Yes, it produces more fruit with a companion tree nearby, but one tree will provide abundant harvests. It naturally remains smaller than most apple trees, making it perfect for people with limited yard space. Finding quince trees requires looking beyond big-box hardware stores. Seek out specialty nurseries that focus on edible biodiversity and heritage varieties. Specific cultivars like Aromatnaya become sweet enough to eat raw if you live in hot climates with long summers. The pineapple variety is prized for its intense tropical flavor profile. The quince possesses advantages that many fruit trees lack. It thrives in heavy, wet clay soils, the exact conditions that kill apple trees. If you have a perpetually soggy corner of your yard where other fruit trees have failed and rotted, the quince will transform that muddy spot into marmalade production. Pests avoid it naturally. The fuzzy exterior and hard flesh resist the worms and insects that devastate apple orchards. It requires less intensive pest management. Deer tend to find the fuzzy leaves less appealing than tender apple foliage. This makes it ideal for organic gardeners wanting lower maintenance trees. Unlike certain heritage varieties that demand a decade-long wait, quince trees deliver results quickly. Expect your first meaningful harvest within 3 to 5 years, and this is a long-term commitment. Modern dwarf apple trees often decline after 15 or 20 years. A healthy quince tree produces fruit for 50 years or longer, often outlasting the gardener who originally planted it. It becomes a generational gift. Harvest occurs in late autumn after the first frost. This is when the quince reaches peak flavor and readiness. Don't eat them immediately. Bring them inside and arrange them in a bowl on your kitchen counter. Let them sit for 2 weeks. They'll perfume your entire home better than any commercial candle. The fragrance alone makes the wait worthwhile. When you're ready, peel them carefully. The core is woody and tough. Take your time. Slow poach them in water with honey, vanilla, and a cinnamon stick. Watch the remarkable transformation as they shift from pale cream to deep glowing red. Serve them over oatmeal, with yogurt, or alongside roasted pork. The quince teaches us something essential about our modern world. In an era celebrating instant gratification, overnight delivery, and constant convenience, the Quince demands patience. It insists that you slow down. It requires you to understand that certain rewards simply cannot be rushed. But here's the compensation. The flavor cannot be manufactured or faked. It's floral, honeyed, and stunningly ruby red. It connects you directly to the wedding feasts of ancient Rome. It links you to the winter pantries of pioneers and settlers. It's a flavor that industrial agriculture decided was too inconvenient, but that countless generations understood was absolutely worth every minute of effort. If you found this exploration of lost flavors valuable and eye-opening, please hit that like button and subscribe to Nature's Forgotten World. We're constantly uncovering forgotten crops, lost culinary traditions, and plants that shaped human civilization. This community is growing because people like you want to reconnect with real food. Share this video with anyone who loves gardening, cooking, or food history. Leave a comment below telling us which forgotten crop you'd like us to investigate next. And if you have quince trees in your yard, we want to hear your stories about them. There's a corner of your yard waiting for a tree that smells like history. Don't settle for the mass-produced, convenient options. Plant something that connects you to thousands of years of human cultivation. Plant the golden apple.